How's it going, guys? Tony here, our cabin in the woods, and today I gotta work on my wife's car. Yep, it's up on the trailer. I think it blew a front wheel bearing. She told me the other day it sounded like it was growling a little bit, and I told her, I asked how bad, and she says just a little bit. And my Mountaineer, I put a hole in the radiator, me, myself, and I. So I had to get another radiator. It didn't come in until yesterday. So really what's going to happen is this weekend, I was going to put the radiator in my Mountaineer and then bring hers in the garage and work on her Blazer and let her drive mine for a little bit. Well, it didn't work out that way. She told me yesterday when she got to work, it felt like the front end was slowing down, made even a real bad grind pop noise, and so I decided to go pick her truck up, and we're going to go ahead and take it apart and see what happened. What I was really excited about is they said the weather was supposed to be sunny and 65. It is now 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and guess what? It's been raining, misting, and it's 49. Thank you, weatherman. You're always spot on. Okay, I went out and drove her car, and I jacked it up first, spun the wheels, and I couldn't find nothing. They both seemed to be pretty good, so I went out and drove it, put a couple miles on it, and all of a sudden it just starts roaring in the front. I can feel it. There is a bearing bad. Usually you can shake the car right to left to try to get an idea if it's the left side of the car or right side of the car. I know these hubs are full assembly bearings, but you still can determine what side it is. Well, this is roaring all the time, but it sounds like from both sides. So we may have two bearings off the front. I won't know until I pull the tires and hubs off. So I'm going to jack it up, put it on jack stands, be safe, and pull the tires off, pull the brakes, the rotor. So the only thing left is the hub, and spin them and see what we end up with. So let me get you to that point and we'll go from here. All right, first thing, jack stands, guys. Safety, I can tell you all about them. Let's say 8 years ago, I had a car crush me. I'm lucky to be alive, and it took me over 6 months to recover. Jack stands, number one thing. Okay, got the wheel off. I spun this. I really can't tell the difference, and this because the brakes drag on it a little bit. So this is an 18. So we're going to go ahead and break these loose. There you go. That's broke loose. Let's get this other one. There we go. All right. Let me go ahead and ratchet this off, and let me get this done. All right, I got the bottom pin out. Now I'm going to take out this top pin right here. Pin's out. Now that should slide off the caliper. Let's see if I can't slide the caliper off. All right, I just got that loose. I'll take the brake pads out. We'll get a screwdriver here. Pry the pads out. There's that one. Now, as you know, I'm going to show you something. I don't know if you can see these little tabs. All right, I heard the brake spring. All right, those little tabs fit inside the caliper holes right here, all right? So when you go to pull this off, it's gonna hook it. What you're gonna have to do is pry the caliper away from the rotor a little bit, which pushes those pistons in, and then you can pull the pads off. All right, most likely I'm not gonna feel nothing yet either. I'm gonna have to pull this off, get that rotor off, and then I can feel the wheel bearing and see where we're at. All right, let me get that done. So we'll need to pull these right here, these off, and get this housing off. There's two of them, one there and there. This will come off and the rotor falls off, and there'll be nothing but a hub. All right, here's another good helpful hint. These back here that holds this bracket on are very tight here, cross member. So it's better to take your steering and turn it all the way to the right, which rotates those two bolts straight on out, and you'll be able to get to it. All right, let me go ahead and I'm going to, I just broke them loose. I had to use a big pry bar. And of course you can see that's loose and that's loose. So let's get them off. All right, we got that bracket off, as you can see. Now we're gonna pull this rotor off. Okay, so the only thing we have left now is to check and spin this. If we spin it and we feel it grind, you know, notch, we know it's bad. Sure sounds loud. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the other side off and we'll check that one. Okay, I'm on the driver's side wheel bearing, and there's 3 bolts. There's one there, and there's another one over here, but there's 3 to go back here. The other one's back here. Let me show you what we got. Okay, you can see there's a bolt right here. There was a bolt that goes over here, and there's another one on the other side. You pull those 3 out. All right, already got them out, and this is what holds your hub in. You can see it start to move. All right, it's out. Now, didn't want it to fall out right away because I have an electrical way over here. This is your analog brake switch, your sensor. You gotta disconnect that. That's part of your bearing assembly. All right, there we go. Now, the reason why I took it out because I want to feel it in my hand. Here it is, and I'm gonna roll it in my hand. I don't know if you can hear it. We have a bearing that's bad in there. For sure, this one's bad. So here's your 3, 1, 2, 3. That's where that bolts in. Those hubs go right on in. So these hubs are somewhere around $130 to $160. So there we go. I'm definitely going to put this one in. I'm going to go. I grabbed the other one. The other one feels good. I was pretty shocked, but so I'm for sure going to put one hub in, and we'll go from here. And I'll probably catch you tomorrow on putting this back together. All right. Okay, I got the new bearing. I'm going to show you what the hub looks like, and we'll go from here. Here is where the hub mounts. That's where the bearing sits, right in here. I did want to show you another thing. Here's my old bearing. All right. You guys can see all that silicone on here. All right. When they send you a new hub, this is what they send you, this O-ring, okay? When you slide the hub in here, it literally, the O-ring, because of the O-ring, the hub will never tighten down. I don't know why. Aftermarkets, they send, let me get this set up. I'm going to put this in here so you can see it. Okay, I was going to show you on the hub with that big O-ring. With that big O-ring, if you put that on there, you can never bolt your hub down. Well, I'm going to show you what I've got going on here. All right. Can you see the O-ring that's back there? Okay. Watch this. I put the hub up to it. You see that big gap? You will never, ever compress that O-ring. I have done it, and I actually snapped off an ear. One of these ears. And I ended up having to buy another bearing because it said it was my fault for over tightening it. Well, that has to be mounted flush to the hub. Okay, if you go to Chevrolet and get their bearing, they come with the proper size ring. Now, why didn't I go get the proper size ring from Chevy? The bearing, two things: the expense, double the amount of money. Second thing is, it didn't make a difference because the bearing on the right-hand side, back, 2 bearings back was a Chevrolet and it lasted a year. It don't make a difference. So if they're going to go out every year, and we're just going to put this stuff on it and run. I mean, this is AutoZone. Then you've got O'Reilly's, Napa. They all offer a 1-year warranty. They do offer a 3-year warranty. You got to order it in. Well, guys, you can't wait for 2 days or 7 days to get something in. You need your part now. So what I do, and I'll show you. All right, I'm going to give you an idea kind of how thick this O-ring is. Okay, there you go. All right, there's no way you can. This literally has to be squashed flat. All right, the O-ring that comes in there is normally, it's about the thickness of this. So you could see the major difference of the O-ring. And it gets concave, it sits right inside that area right there. So if you look at that, there is no way in heck you can compress that. If you compress it so far, it does not, it interferes with this. And the goal is, you want the flatness of this to rub against the flatness of this surface here. Okay, it has to. So what I've been doing is I go ahead and put silicone sealer right here. Let me show you what I got. This is what I do. This is what I've been doing. All it does is try to seal it from water. And all I do is just take a bead. That's all I do, all the way around it. All the way around the whole thing, and that's it. Okay, another thing I do is I put just a little bit on the threads, because if you're up north, that water could get in there, and you don't want that. So there you go. Okay, now I want to go put that in there. Okay. As you can see how close this metal here, housing, is flush against here. This is what you want. You want that O-ring in the middle to be crushed. Well, if you look, that O-ring will never compress in there. You'll never compress it. And that's how I broke that ear off on that one. And because they said I ever torqued it, I had to buy another one. At $150 a piece, I will never use those O-rings. I am using silicone, and they work great. This here is weathered, salt, everything. Well, we just seal it off with silicone. I've never seen rust in these hubs in this area on this wheel or the other wheel. Never. They're just junk bearings, and they don't know how to make them. So now the goal is we are going to go ahead and torque those 3 bolts. There's one right here, another one up here, and there's another one down the other side. We're going to torque them down to 77 foot-pounds. And we're going to go ahead and torque these down. It's important to torque them. And the old timer and torque wrench is how I went all the time, no matter what. Even wheels, I torque them. So let me get this set up, and we're going to torque some those 3 big bolts down. And you don't torque them down one at a time. I've already done a preliminary yank with my 3/8 ratchet, so I'm good. So now I will do my full pull. Okay, my camera fell over, so I think you all just heard it. We'll try it again. There you go. When it clicks, you're at torque. So we're going to do 2 more and we'll be done. These bearings also have the ABS in it. And here's your ABS wire. Comes up here, goes all the way around, and it connects the back here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me get a light over there. There's a new ABS wire, and that's connected. They give you little spots to plug everything into. All right, well, you've already seen me take this thing apart. You kind of know what I'm going to do, so I'm going to go ahead and put this assembly back together. I need to put the passenger side back together. I am not replacing that bearing. That sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and grease all my grease fittings. Every time I have these wheels off, I throw grease in everything. So we'll get that all done, and I'll bring it done back when I'm all done, and we're going to go for a test drive. Okay, the new hub's on. Here's the hub here with the bearing. It's all put back together. Everything's back on. All these bolts are torqued. That's just the way I do it. I torque everything. Now I'm going to put the wheel on both sides. I got the other side back together. I don't know if I showed you earlier yesterday. This side was all apart. I left that bearing on. Everything's going back together there. So I'm going to put the tires on and torque them down, and then we're going to take it down the road and see if I hear anything. And I'll bring the camera with me. Okay, we're out driving it, and it's quieter than a mouse until you step on one. Anyway, sounds great. On different speeds, and shook the car around. I don't hear nothing, so she should be good to go. I checked all her air in the tires and filled her tank up. One quick note, you guys, wintertime, you know your air pressure in your tires are going to go down, so you need to keep checking them every couple months. Make sure you're up to good. I mean, hers were down about 10 to 12 pounds each one, and it's just normal for this time of year when it gets cold out. All right, y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching. I know this was offbeat from what I normally do, but hey, that's life. Gotta do them. Y'all have a great day. Bye.